Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. This one is published September 13th of 2021. Today is September 13th of 2021 as I am posting this video. Kingston, Jamaica. 9 murders occurred on Sunday, the first lockdown day of the week of a period of tighter restrictions imposed by the government to arrest the surge in COVID-19 deaths and infections. If you all don't know it already, Jamaica has what we call now no movement days, meaning tanaya yard, or that's how we Jamaicans say it. But it means don't leave your yard, don't leave your house. You are locked in. Not in your yard hanging out in the front yard, but within the confines of the walls of your house. And on this day, when no Jamaican citizen is supposed to be moving around, apart from essential workers, law enforcement officials, and few other people here and there who have permits to do so, probably like those who are on their way to go get vaccinated, etc. No one is supposed to be moving around. However, 9 people end up getting killed on this day. And we're talking about in separate incidents for the most part. There was a quadruple murder in Clarendon during which 19-year-old was killed. And there was followed by separate attacks, which included a murder in the Kingston 8 area and another fatality in Withorn, Westmoreland, and yet another in St. Mary. Then the body of an elderly man aged 74 years old, Oscar Jackson, a technician of Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio, Portland, was also found at his home on Sunday. Reports are that about 9:50 a.m., the relative went to visit Jackson when his decomposing body was seen inside of his house. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Jackson was seen laying on his bed with a piece of stick under his head. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue like all the other stories. Also, on Sunday, 44-year-old Arvid Matthews, a fisherman of Longwood District in Clarendon, was murdered by armed men. Reports are that from the police are that about 8:40 p.m. Matthews was in Shearers Heights in the parish of Clarendon, standing on the roadway with friends, when they were approached by 2 men, armed, and the men opened fire, hitting Matthews several times. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, Matthew was seen with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Rampaging gunmen killed at least 27 people over a 72-hour period on the weekend. The free movement days fared no better. 7 of the murders occurred on Saturday, while 11 killings happened on Friday, a particularly bloody 24-hour period that included 4 murders in the major shopping district of downtown Kingston. Man, oh man. Listen, the headline alone says 9 killed on no movement days, which brings me to the argument that many people are saying that Jamaica right now is under stress, not from COVID, but from the murder rate. And that this is what the Prime Minister is trying to grab a hold of and control. And he figured that if he got the people to sit still, there would be no murders, at least for a couple of days. Well, for those people who think so, I am not one of them that think that that's what it is. But for those who think that that's what it is, you might have a point. However, this thing is nothing new. It's been going on for quite some time now. I've said this before. It's been well past a decade that Jamaica has continuously turned in their report cards at the end of the year to the tune of over 1,000 Jamaicans murdered per year, consistently for well over a decade now. So, another incident like this in front of the eyes of a desensitized population, because most Jamaicans, they're used to this by now, so it's no longer an alarm. This is no longer a, oh my God, look what just happened. This is no longer, we need Jesus, Jesus Christ, come save us. I think pretty much almost everybody at this point is at a point where it's it is what it is. Normal thing this. Let's move right along. That's when it gets sad. This is when it gets sad. You know what I'm saying? This is when it gets sad. Because nobody really cares, so no changes are really going to be made. I mean, we get on social media, we type our little phrases, we pretend to care so much, we cry for change with our little Twitter fingers on social media. Lord, please help us. Andrew Holness, you need to do something. Blah, blah, blah. We type a whole bunch of typing. But most of us type and then we go on back to our regular scheduled program at hand. Be that our favorite show, favorite series on Netflix, our favorite, whatever it is. Or just scrolling through Instagram, wasting time, peeking into everybody else's life and living vicariously through those who seem to be doing better than we are. But no one really cares about the real issue. The real issue that life on the island of Jamaica has become pretty much worthless. Human life has become worthless. A country that was known for Iriman. Every little thing's gonna be alright. And stuff like that. One love. Things like that. That country has officially solidified its place as one of the most murderous countries in the world per capita. Little Jamaica. Jamaica, the pride and joy, or the jewel of the Caribbean, where everybody wants to vacay in Jamaica and catch the vibes and sip a cold red stripe and eat some jerk chicken off of the grill while some nice Bob Marley reggae music is playing about one love. And lift up yourself and lift up your brothers and your sisters. And to the backdrop of that, it's murder, 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 and more murder. Guns, 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 and more guns. Who don't have gun is who don't want gun. Gun stockpile in abundance. This is what we have become. 9 people killed on a no movement day. When you talk about unruly, when you talk about don't give a about the laws, 9 murders on a no movement day. I could just imagine seeing somebody saying no movement under your mama. Because that's how, that's how it goes, right? May I move, but no movement. And they go and they carry out their deeds anyways, regardless. I don't know what else to say anymore. It is what it is at this point. I think I'm starting to become one of the people who accept that this is what it is, which can be dangerous because then I will start to report as if I am the news instead of getting into a serious discussion of what we can do as a people for ourselves to fix this quagmire that we find ourselves in. This seems like there's no way out. It's been going on for too long, and people have become, believe it or not, people have become used to it. there are lots of people now who look forward to their daily dose of who got killed today. And if you don't post those kinds of videos, they won't even tune into your material. Think about that. Is this a supply and demand? Or this is what we want to hear on a daily basis? I mean, it's cool for us to hear what happened, to keep us in the know, to make us more aware, because some of us fall asleep walking. And some of us tell ourselves the same thing over and over. The land of wood and water, knowing no better than yard. Safest place for me in the world. All when over 1,000 people get murdered every year. We brag about our Jamaica. We brag about how there's nowhere else like it that carries a special vibe like it. We brag about our super athletes and our food. We brag about our name. Brand Jamaica to the world. But this right here, this is a black eye on Jamaica. Let me close this video by saying this. Whatever Prime Minister decides to actually take this serious and actually does something about it, and yes, something can be done. Whatever Prime Minister is able to turn this around, that Prime Minister will probably be labeled as the best Prime Minister that Jamaica has ever had. Why? Because we can deal with poverty. We can deal with not having. A lot of us grew up not having. A lot of us grew up being resourceful. A lot of us grew up giving thanks even though we were not wealthy and rich, or even though we didn't have much or probably anything in some cases. So we can deal with that. But what the murders and the constant murdering and bloodletting has done to the psyche of the minds of the people are damaged. And whatever Prime Minister can turn this around to make this be a has-been, it would be a joy for 10 years from now. We look back and we're like, you remember 10 years ago when the murder rate was really high in Jamaica? And every year since then, we've been having like 5, 4, 10. One year we had 15, and we thought that was, still good, because we had over 1,000 for over 10 years in a row. Just go look up Jamaica by the number, murders, and you will see what I'm talking about. They will give it to you by the years. You will see when we started to trend high, and you will be able to see just how long we have maintained that trend. Murder, 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 and more murder. Have mercy on Jamaica, boy, and the minds of the Jamaican people. Talk to me in the comment section, people. Tell me what you think about this one. I told you before, this was not too long ago. The number I brought to you was 934. This was within the first week of the 9th month of the year, September of 2021. We were already at and passing 934. In just 72 hours, 27 people plus were murdered on one weekend. Remember, I said by the end of the year, I'm pretty sure that we will be somewhere in the 11 to 1,200 range. That's 1,200 lives. 1,200 Jamaican citizens that are no longer here. Wow. I'll catch you on the next video, man. It's SouFLoTV. What's the solution? Let's talk about that in the comment section below. I'm out. Peace.